Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Links Golf Club podcast, a conversation and today reintroduction show about our wonderful club and the world of golf. I'm Gregory, your host, and as always, I'm joined by my friends Cooper and Chris. Fellas, keep saying it, but it's been a big few weeks. Each week keeps getting bigger. How are y'all feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling good. We'll have some fun stuff to talk about today, but we're entering golf season. Temps rising, sunlight expanding, Masters nearing. So feeling good.
Yeah, definitely. The ball keeps rolling forward. Springtime comes with lots of great things, but seems to particularly be moving fast here at Links. It's been really fun working with you guys on all the new stuff that we're doing. But yeah, feeling
Awesome.
good.
Yeah, I had a triple on a par 3 the other day. Sick.
Nice.
So we're rounding into form, which is great.
We saw plenty of that at the Players last week. That's just,
That's right.
happens to the best
Just
of us.
like us. Well, before we dive in, y'all got any announcements you want to share with the fine people?
Yeah, just want to let everybody know your last chance to claim your Links coin is between now, when you're watching this, and March 25th. If you're watching this after March 25th, it's too late. But the snapshot for members was on February 26th. So if you're watching this before March 25th, know that you can't just go pick up a membership today and be eligible for that claim. If you have any questions at all, we've got lots of resources. Pop into the Discord, open a ticket on our website. We're happy to help you out with all of that. We also have some great opportunities for our members to join our clubs. Big things happening out at Spey Bay. Seen some great content coming out of Scotland via Bert and the Spey Bay account. Follow us over there, by the way, at Spey Bay. Great times happening in Scotland. And of course, Hillcrest. Chris, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Hillcrest is on my mind, amongst other things. But memberships are live for all LinksDAO members now. So it's been awesome seeing all the first members roll in, people joining Hillcrest. But if you haven't yet, know that is live now. You can see all the information about the course and the different membership options in Clubhouse, and join before March 31st to get basically all the extra benefits that we've added. We're going to have a big member event in Kansas City this summer. You get huge Links rewards bonuses joining before that date. So if you are thinking about it, make sure to do it before then. Go check out all the details in Clubhouse and, pop into the Discord, shoot us an email if you've got any questions, as always. But been super exciting to see that get rolling here. And, the beginning of the ride at Hillcrest. So it's been off to a good start.
Absolutely. We actually released a trailer on some of the footage that we talked about last week. And so check that out on YouTube. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel because we're going to be putting out a ton of Hillcrest and Spey content this year. So if you're just curious of what it looks like to participate in the, redesign, reemergence of a golf course, either in a different country or closer to home, definitely check that stuff out. So thanks, guys, for keeping us up to date there. Let's get into it. Past episodes, we've covered Hillcrest Country Club, the acquisition, what it means for Links Golf Club. Obviously, 2025 is a big year, but today's episode sort of really marks a shift, and we're going to be talking about sort of new directions, new beginnings is sort of a general theme that we're going to tease out here. We've got our new CEO, Chris. You know him from this very podcast. He is now the CEO of Links. We're going to dive into sort of his vision for the future of Links Golf Club. We're also launching our Q1 2025 Links Census very soon. You can actually hop into DAO General right now and help form what the questions will be and the length of it and sort of what we're asking. Like, did a great conversation happening right there. So if you like the nuts and bolts of qualitative research, then please dive in and make your voice heard. So we're going to talk about why that's important. And then obviously we're also going to cover some updates on Hillcrest and the initiation drive. So first things first, Chris, huge congratulations. I'm personally very excited for you. I think you are the right person for the job. And I just want to say congratulations for becoming CEO. It's a major moment for Links Golf Club. So let's just sort of start simple. What's your vision? Where do you think we're headed?
Yeah, well, first off, thank you. Very kind words, very much appreciated, and it certainly goes for everyone else that's chimed in on that front as well. I said this other night, but I'm not one to really enjoy kind of the spotlight being on me, but nonetheless, very appreciative for all the kind words. Uh, but I'd also state, you asked about my vision. I mean, I guess first statement is that I don't kind of see it as just my vision, right? Like stepping in, like, all right, we're doing this now. Like the kind of whole point of this grand experiment is it's our vision as a community, and that is like the basis of it. But I can share my perspective on where I think we could go. Is maybe a starting point, but I'm really looking forward to everyone having input and thoughts on that and kind of guiding it as a community, right? Um, but in general, I think we're entering a new phase now for links, right? Like now that we have a US course, what kind of amounts to a home for the majority of our members, right? We have members across the globe, but the majority are in the US. So now that we have kind of a domestic home, and we have 2 courses on 2 continents, which was of course the genesis of the whole thing, right? Buying golf courses and also specifically, from the original Dudas tweet, going after a top 100 level course in the US. Now that we're kind of there, I think that means we can focus a little more on that and, perhaps less on a lot of the other stuff that we've done in the interim. While we were looking for courses, we've done a ton over the past 3 years. But, now that we're kind of at this big milestone, that means that it gives us the opportunity to do what, we were kind of here to do when we all joined up, or, we all had this vision about, okay, we're going to go out, get golf courses for the community that we will guide and then we'll be our own, and, that we'll kind of shepherd into the future. So, I think that does kind of amount to a lot of stuff that, can change or perhaps should change going forward. I mean, I think naturally we'll do more stuff around our courses, right? So like more events, more content, more votes, or just more community engagement in general around our specific courses, since we have those to engage on versus, the past where we had less of that and we did a lot of events and other courses, a lot of, kind of content or just activity around other things. So, we'll perhaps be doing a little less of that, which I think is natural. But, I also think we're kind of at this point where, we're kind of, like I said, it's a bit of like fulfillment of the original vision, or I think what a lot of people joined up for. And I think that allows us to get back to our roots a little bit too, as a community. I mean, you all know this well, but we've been on kind of a long journey over the past 3 years. I mean, searching for golf courses and, obviously getting Spade Bay and Hillcrest, but also just in the backdrop of like a really rough crypto bear market and, a number of crises in the crypto world. But so we're through that. And we're at this point where, we have US and UK course. So I think that, gives us a little more freedom to think anew and like kind of what the next phase looks like. It feels like a natural turning point.
Yeah. So I think if sort of someone's listening in and maybe wasn't around, you sort of touched on the last 3 years and some of the context and the history and the story of where we started, where we've been, where we are, where we're going. Can you maybe, for new people, maybe provide some more context, some stories, some tidbits, like kind of explain how we got here and give some context on that I think will be helpful to understand where we're going.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, a lot of our kind of OG members will know this, but I think probably a lot, it'd be useful kind of refresher of kind of where we've all been over the past 3 years. And certainly for folks that have joined more recently or kind of just listening in, It's useful context, but we started off very beginning of 2022 with the NFT launch, kind of right square in the middle of the bull market, just kind of broader crypto bull market and also specifically NFT bull market. And, I think at that time, the sky was the limit, right? It's launched, everything sold out immediately, over 10 million primary sale for the NFT memberships. I think we had, a little over $1 million in secondary royalties, like commissions in the first month. So certainly at that moment, it seemed like unstoppable machine. Everything was up, all blue skies and butterflies and whatever other positive images. But of course, it didn't last. So the crypto market promptly cratered. Not just like the price of ETH and Bitcoin, but also NFT trading volumes dropped 95+%, and crucially the whole like secondary royalty kind of framework that we kind of started with as a community, as the business, secondary commissions basically went to zero over a matter of months, just because of kind of the downturn in the market, but also this competition from NFT marketplaces. A bunch of new ones popped up, and naturally kind of fees went to zero. So that, I think in like 9 months, secondary commissions were down like 99%. It basically went to zero. So of course, like we're a startup, right, as a community and also as a company, but like that's a pretty wild shift in the first like year of a startup's existence. And so, like any good startup, we did some pivoting, right? Like we looked at what other options we had and, what else we needed to do to kind of ultimately be successful for all of the goals that we had. And, we had in the kind of right off the bat, I say we, but, not just the three of us, but the full team and, obviously Jim and Des and Dudas and everyone else kind of had created or kind of pulled together, amassed a ton of really great things as part of our membership. So, I think we smartly started offering annual subscription memberships that people could purchase with a credit card. And, we did a lot more with events and, just kind of a lot of additional stuff for kind of above and beyond the original NFT, right? And like at the end of the day, that generated a lot of revenue. It kind of allowed us to get to the other side of the bear market, obviously super important. But it was, it was a wild journey. And, it kind of did require us to shift focuses, kind of multiple times throughout that. But again, like now we're on the other side of that, right? Like, and, it's probably worth reiterating that we were able to like buy a course in Scotland through the middle of all that, which is kind of wild looking back on it. And then ultimately, acquire a course in the US now as well. But so like doing that, the kind of course ownership piece, but also coupled with the rebound of the crypto market and, kind of a brighter outlook for smarter crypto regulation and certainly in the US and, a lot more focus, talk about that and like clear regulation, which is particularly important. That opens up a lot of opportunity for us to, I think, get back to our roots, like I was saying. So I mean, we've already announced some of this stuff, right? Like we said weeks ago that we're not offering the annual subscription memberships with buy with a credit card option. Now, like we've kind of closed that off, right? So and we're focusing solely on the NFT memberships, and that's a really big change, kind of a shift back again to like getting back to our roots. And, it again kind of gets us back to that original vision. So those NFTs are the only way into national membership at Hillcrest. They get you kind of exclusive membership ability at Spay Bay, kind of unique membership ability at Spay Bay, and the only way into all of our other benefits that we've compiled with 70 plus brands and all the kind of signature events that we do and all that stuff. There's the exclusive way into all of that. And we've obviously have a number of members that have purchased annual subscriptions, and we'll give them routes to kind of onboard into an NFT-based membership over time and all those things. But again, it's kind of, we started out on one path and kind of had to shift given market conditions. Now we're shifting back, which I think is good. And it's like the perfect timing with the course and kind of the crypto outlook, if you will. So yeah, I think we're going to focus a lot more on that. I think we'll probably take a hard look at like everything that we do, right, and rethink it in like the new world that we're in, and it's a good time to do that. And like with that shift, that like it's particularly important to me that I also want to ensure we're being community driven in everything, right? Like, okay, we're shifting direction, like we need the input of the community on that. That's what makes us different, right? It is like a golf community or just like a community in general, as a club. And we stayed, I thought we stayed very focused on community direction when we were looking at golf courses. That was like the most important thing, and we were very stringent about that, right, on what options we looked at and getting guidance between options, kind of through the evaluation process and approving Hillcrest once we had it and all those things. But I want to make sure we keep doing that going into this next phase, right? We're shifting direction. So it's super important we get guidance at this particular moment.
For sure. I mean, I've always been, grateful of the privilege of being able to work, at Links with this community. But I think this, honestly, like in the timeline of this project, this is probably the second most excited I've been. The first week was just insane. And at that point I was a member, minted, like Chris and Cooper, we were just entering into this grand experiment, which Cooper, I'm going to have you touch on in a second, is sort of, what this sort of experiment means. But I'm really jazzed up. I mean, I think it's so exciting now, like you said, to be in the position of having two courses. One of those courses is just absolutely blossoming in now our, I guess, second year of ownership. The content coming out of Scotland that Bird is putting out there, new tee boxes, progress towards the reverse full routing. It's just, it's a blessing to be able just to see and be a part of it. And then now to have this course in the United States where we're at the beginning of that same journey. We've already sort of been able to do it once, and now to see that happen again, and then to participate with thousands of our friends doing that is just, it's unlike anything else I've ever done in my career. And I'm just really, 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 really excited about, this new direction. So Coop, why don't you share sort of, your perspective on this? We've heard Chris talk a little bit about the history, the context, just sort of how are you feeling? What are you thinking about? What's your perspective as a member, as a community leader? Where are the areas that you're excited about?
Yeah. I mean, first off, congrats again. See, Bruce, I know you don't like the spotlight and you've heard that a few times. But I'm going to keep
We're going to say it
because
because it makes him
fun.
feel uncomfortable. So let's just say it just every time we see him, just congrats.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I'm really, really stoked. Not only because, I mean, we talked a little bit about the origin here. We were all pretty early on the calls, right? Along with the founding member group. We minted out, and then we kind of sat around and we're like, okay, we took stock, and raise your hand if any of you have ever like purchased or owned a golf course before. No one had. It's one of the most remarkable things that we got together and we did this, and we had the trust and background of like professionalism. We were all doxxed, right? We all, were available to the community, but we didn't have a ton of golf industry experience. And to see, Chris, who was to me just an anonymous person in the Discord, step up, become a full-time person at Links, and as much, if not more than anybody else on the team, really grow and thrive into like one of the most knowledgeable people on the golf industry that I've ever met in 3 short years is really, really cool. It speaks not only to just native intelligence, but dedication to the project, right? And willingness to grow and learn in it. So really, really stoked about that just as the foundation for moving forward. I think in terms of the project more broadly, my perspective on it is we always need to have 2 things cooking. We need to have one, a big picture, shoot for the moon goal, right? Buy a top 100 golf course that our members can access. And then we need to have day-to-day, week-to-week, fun, engaging, interesting benefits to work on. And those 2 sides of the coin are what make a great community. It's something that we've done really, really well over the past 3 years, with 5-Iron being our first partnership sticks, events at different clubs. We did South by Southwest, NFT NYC. Our members are getting together, playing golf, saving money, Callaway, all of these different partnerships and benefits that come along with being a member of a global golf club, tied into this goal that we're all rowing towards together on this boat, right? So I'm really stoked about the survey, how that's going to inform where we go next. A lot of the what, but also the how of how we engage with the community and how we, continue to row together towards those goals, but also point the boat in the right direction, right? So I'm really, really looking forward to, more community involvement, more discussions, more votes around things like that. And then we have some new tools at our disposal, right? We've got Hillcrest, we've got SpayBay, we've got Links Coin, which are all going to be interesting, tools for us to build together and keep building not only towards, the moon, but our day-to-day, week-to-week enjoyment of golf and working together. So, I think it's great, right? Big shout out to Jim, the helmsman through some turbulent times. I think, 2 golf courses, major achievement, round of applause there, absolutely. But yeah, I couldn't be more excited to move forward with you guys and with Chris at the top. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So Chris, congratulations. And no, I 100% said. So I guess, Chris, to kind of wrap up this segment as we transition into something Cooper mentioned, you want to go deeper into this, the census, the survey. I think we'll come up with one name for that instead of just like interchangeably using both. But if there's one thing that you want Links members to take away from this sort of period in time, this transition, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, I think just kind of adding on to what Cooper was saying, like this whole Grin experiment only works if Links community members are engaging with, the community and everything that's going on, right? So like whether that's getting into Clubhouse and seeing, all the different parts of membership benefits, courses, and community and everything else, whether that's like purchasing membership at our courses, which is obviously super important, that our Links members are, kind of then flowing into being members at the courses themselves, voting, chatting in Discord, sharing with your friends, right? Or sharing on socials and like getting the word out about everything that we're doing here. It's at this stage, it's kind of weird or maybe anathema to say it, but like it's not actually helpful to just like hold an NFT and just sit there and not do anything about it, not talk about it, right? Like we love all of our holders and our members, but like that is only so useful, right? Like as we all enter this next phase, I think it's super important for all of our members, all of our holders to make sure they are engaging with what we do. That means giving us feedback, and like input, like in the survey, but also just outside of that, and also getting really involved with Hillcrest, with SpayBay, with other events that we have going on, engaging with our content and sharing it with like everyone in your golfing life, right? That's how we all win in this. That's how this whole project, community, everything is successful, is, we kind of jointly build together, create a lot of value, for lack of a better word, for our membership and what we can do with it, and really awesome places for us to engage with, like through our courses. So that is the thing, right? Like if all of our community members want everyone to be engaged, want everyone to be taking advantage of what the membership has to offer, and also giving us the input that we need to like guide it in the right direction for what people want. Super important.
Yep, that's a fantastic segue into the next section here. I think one of the first sort of initiatives in this phase that we're going to be rolling out is a really rigorous way for us to be able to tap into the thoughts and feelings of the community. Obviously, sort of one thing that's always made us a little bit different is we're all in Discord every day, right? So like we're hearing the good, the bad. We're mixing it up. It's conversations about what we're doing. We're always getting ideas. We obviously have voting, which when we have big decisions to make, those votes are on chain and, weighted by your NFT holdings. And those are the things that sort of give us the mandate to do certain big, important things. We've done a lot of small surveys over the years. We've kind of always had this sort of thumb on the heartbeat of what's going on. But I think it's super critical at this stage for us to take I'm not going to say like scientific, but like a like rigorous way to understand what's going on through the form of this survey. So there's sort of two parts to this. One is we've already released sort of the things that we're curious about. We created a document sort of not dissimilar to the very beginnings of the project. There's a document, throw it out there and just comment on it, right? We put that in DAO General. If you haven't seen it yet, radically invite you to open that link up, take a look at it, and just add comments like you were collaborating on a document in a workplace, right? So we're looking at those comments. We're going to change the survey based on those comments because we want to make sure that it's not just our survey that we're sending out, like the three of us, but it's actually the collective consciousness of the community's curiosity of understanding where we are, how we're doing, and informing where we should go. So we've never really done this at this scale or sort of with this level of intentionality. So we're putting it out there. Chris, can you sort of just break down what this is and why it's so important?
Yeah. So, I mean, the intent is that it's going to be a pretty wide ranging survey, right? It's going to cover a lot of topics. Again, we're kind of at this critical juncture, big milestone. And so we want input on a lot of stuff, but that's getting more information about who our members are. Like, that's one piece of it, but also information about how people use or view their membership today, their LinksDAO membership. And then also like forward looking, what do people want, right? Like what do people want out of their membership that they aren't getting today? What are your preferences? Like what do you want to see us do more of, less of, all of that stuff. So it's kind of covering all of those things. I mean, it's funny. One of the great things about NFTs and, kind of the way we launched is that we were able to launch a membership to like thousands of people in like a matter of hours, more or less. But interestingly enough, one of the downsides of that is, we don't, we actually, in the absence of actively seeking it out, we don't know much about our members by default, right? Like we have to ask for that information. It's not like, kind of what companies might get when they have someone sign up with, their credit card and fill out a form and, all these things, right? So like doing this, I mean, we've done some of these in the past, like you said, Greg, and, we've gotten some information in the past, but doing it consistently over time and also taking the time to actually get like deeper information is super important. So like the data is going to be incredibly helpful for a number of purposes for guiding our direction as a company or, kind of as a membership, what we offer as a membership, but, getting feedback on what members like and don't like, again, what they want to see more of, specifically thinking of like entering the next phase, and, orienting more around the courses that we have. But it goes across everything, guiding us on what partnerships would be most interesting or beneficial, what kind of benefits or unique things doing as a community, how we communicate with people. I think that's a really important one frankly, like one of the biggest things on my mind, because it's, this is true perhaps with any membership, but for us, like, we've got some folks in Discord a bunch, some that are in Discord not at all, some that, spend a lot of time on Telegram, some that kind of exclusively, consume our content in other places or just on socials or, all of those things. So again, kind of level setting on all that information, knowing how we can build out the membership that is, most in line with what our community wants, and also get the word out to everyone appropriately and, most effectively, and all of that. It's covering all of those things. So it's doing a lot of jobs. The survey is, but again, that's why I think it's really important and also important to do it like at this particular moment.
Yeah, and I'm sure people hear things like survey and they just sort of their eyes like roll back and in their head, or they like gloss over and hand up. Like, I don't love taking surveys, but to your point, like it is really important. And I think what has always made us different from being a member of a different club is that the process, it's the participation, it's the experimentation as a group. And so for us to be able to understand collectively, again, like that's why we're designing the survey collaboratively with membership, who then ultimately will take the census, and including ourselves, like the three of us will take it, right? Like members take the survey. And even though like that, hopefully 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of your time, which is super valuable, and attention is, dispersed across any number of things, the value that we will collectively get from that time investment is going to be really, really high. So, we'll say it over and over again, and but we want as much participation on this as possible, because if we only get sort of a handful of people, it's going to be a selection bias, right? If it's just the people who are super happy, that's not going to tell us anything. Like, we want the widest array of people to take this survey as possible for it to be relevant and useful and valuable. So cool. As someone who's super active in the community, obviously, you have real estate in Discord. You got a home there. You spend more time in the Discord metaverse than you probably do your own home. How do you see the census impacting the club?
My screen time is pretty high, guys. Golf season can't come soon enough. No,
Go touch grass.
Yeah, touch grass. Occasionally, it's good to get off the big screen, look at small screen Discord. No, it's good because the survey, and again, some people's eyes might glaze over. If you've ever, you're watching this podcast, you're kind of lurking in the Discord, but you're not super active. You pop in, you see a lot of the same names chatting. You see a lot of the conversation just kind of purring. It's really important that you and all of those people and everyone who's a member has an equally weighted voice in our understanding of who you are, what you want, and what you do, right? You mentioned some science behind it. There's some data-driven decision-making here, and there's some like qualitative versus quantitative questions that we really need to answer, right? And a lot of times people who just spend a ton of time in the chat, like me, we can, have an outsized voice in what our opinions and thoughts are and how things move forward. And it's really important that we get everybody who has an interest, because this is, again, like we've hammered this entire podcast episode. This is our club. How the community drives it, right, is really, really important. And we want to have the best possible information for how to move forward. So we're starting that with the drafting, right? You can participate in that, hop into the Discord, go to DAO General, drop a comment in the doc. The rewards of participating are just that we get good data, right? If that's not something that satisfies or excites you enough, we're going to think about other fun ways to reward you for being involved in the process. So stay tuned on that. If you're a member, make sure you have your email linked, because we're going to be emailing this out to everybody. We'll have all the details on that front. And I'm sure we'll mention it again here on the podcast. So subscribe here. But we want to make sure that even if it's, a bit of a bore or a chore, that you're still going to feel like you get something out of it as a member. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, jump in, drop a comment if you have some time this weekend while you're watching some March Madness. We'd love to,
absolutely
hear from you.
And maybe we can just make the survey a TikTok dance just make it
That's right.
really exciting. I think the last thing that I'll say on this is, what I like invite you to consider is how sincerely we want honest, candid feedback on this, right? Like, there's sometimes you take a survey, you kind of get the vibe that the person's just asking for good news. Like, that's not what this is about. We need to know, right? And so it's not like, hey, we had this idea, we already have a roadmap in the background, and we're looking to like sort of confirm bias ourselves into that line of thinking. We want to know like the authentic truth that you have in your head and your heart in this survey. And so just to kind of echo what Chris and Kufa said, like, it's just super critical that we get that. So you're going to get annoyed by us by how much we talk about it, but it is that important. So let's kind of shift into this last part. I did want to leave some time to talk about Hillcrest, kind of where we are with the initiation drive, sort of how things are going at Hillcrest. We've obviously been talking a lot about Hillcrest on this very podcast because it is a very exciting part of this project. But Chris, can you kind of just walk us through sort of where we are, maybe some of the short term where we're going, how things are going with initiations, et cetera?
Yeah. Yeah. So, obviously we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Hillcrest a little bit. It's like the big thing that's going on right now. But we've talked about it on the past couple podcasts, and we have other content going out. So I definitely point everyone to that for, just kind of seeing visually some of the content that we're putting out there, and, learning more, getting more familiar with everything that's going on there. But just as kind of a quick recap of what we've said elsewhere, we were just on site last week. Obviously, we just held this vote. We are now co-owners of Hillcrest. And, we're kind of in the now phase of having LinksDAO members join as members of Hillcrest Country Club. But alongside with that, we're obviously, we're kind of capturing a bunch of content, the course construction. So kind of the bulk of the work of the course renovation is slated to start in kind of the next couple of weeks here. So it's going to be kind of a fun moment in time over the summer to be capturing all of the work that's happening. And, we can all kind of follow along in seeing the course basically get rejuvenated from, where it is today to, into what's going to be a really, really high quality course. But we're kind of at the very, very beginning of that, and it's going to be fun, and we're going to have a lot of content around that for everyone to consume on their own. But then, the other big piece of that obviously is that we've now opened up memberships for LinksDAO members to join. We've had, a bunch of first folks come in, ranging from our kind of base membership all the way up to the founding memberships, which is, kind of amount to an investment in the course. So it's been really exciting to see all of that. But, this is kind of the first phase of the membership drive, if you will, right? The ability for LinksDAO members to join the course. And it's maybe worth reiterating just like why it is important or maybe interesting to join now. Obviously, the course isn't opening for another year, right? Or, kind of not until the spring of next year. So we've certainly got lots of questions around that and everything else. But, there are a few things. Obviously, we stated this up front. We've rolled out a bunch of special perks for people who do join now. So, if you do jump in this first phase, you're going to be attending for free our big member event this summer. You're getting Links coin benefits and everything else. But even, more broadly than that, memberships are limited. So obviously, there's, we don't expect these to be kind of available forever, at least without some form of wait list or kind of other way in. And, what I view this as is this is a very unique moment in time when you can join what will be a top tier course with no waiting lists. No, obviously by virtue of having a LinksDAO NFT, that also means there's no application process. You aren't going out and getting sponsors and reference letters and all that stuff. And we've done a lot of research and thinking to make sure that also the prices that LinksDAO members are getting for a membership that it's basically better than any other top tier national membership we've seen out there, right? So like, you know, when I step back and think about LinksDAO in general, or kind of what Hillcrest means, I mean, one of the reasons I joined, like the very, very beginning, was like, man, I'm a decently successful guy, but like the prospect of joining a top 100 course is almost unthinkable. You know, it's like, man, despite you know, having a pretty good network and all these things, like it's the ability to do that seems kind of out of reach. And if you're a golf fanatic and you want kind of access to the depth in the game, like, you know, that kind of sucks. But this is like that unique moment where we now all collectively as LinksDAO members have the ability to join at like the ground floor of what is going to be that level of course. So like, I know we've talked about that a lot, but I view that as super important. And, you know, it's kind of, again, you know, the fulfillment of why we started this whole thing, why a bunch of people joined at the beginning. So, yeah, I think it's just a really unique moment in time. And, you know, the prospect of joining with zero wait list, low fees, no process, all of that, like that won't be there forever. And so, you know, I do kind of urge folks to, you know, if you are thinking you're going to join or want to, you know, kind of take a part of this whole thing, you know, doing so upfront is super important. And then you get to, you know, kind of jump in on all the awesome other stuff we have planned. We're going to have our Kansas City member event this summer, which is going to be a ton of fun. We'll be doing kind of in-depth course tours, meeting with the on-site team. You know, you'll get to kind of experience it all in person, play some golf. We're going to have a signature event in the area. We're just kind of buttoning up all the details on right now, which is going to be a blast, which you can kind of tack on to that Kansas City event. And you know, there will be some kind of members only content. You'll get kind of the inside look at a lot of this stuff. So we'll schedule some like Q&A with Trip, the architect, and, you know, get some other inside baseball on everything that's going on, even beyond the content that we're sharing more publicly. So yeah, I mean, it's an exciting point in time, right? It's I'm excited about. We were all just out there. I think we're all pumped about it, but hopefully for all of our members, right? It's like it is this unique moment when we all get to jump in for the ride.
For sure. Cool. Cooper, any thoughts on Hillcrest? Again, you know, we've had tons of conversations about this here and elsewhere, but what's on your mind this week about Hillcrest?
Yeah, I mean, this week, obviously, there's about 11 days left in what I'm calling phase one, right, of these benefits and joining, getting slots at events, member number, you know, locker, all the other cool stuff that comes with joining Hillcrest. I'm still kind of basking in the glow of visiting the course, right? You can watch the trailer, some of the video content. We got more coming out on that, but like, Chris, you mentioned just the availability of joining a top 100 course. A lot of people make it their bucket list to play a handful of top 100 courses, let alone be a member. And then your traditional country club membership looks nothing like LinksDAO membership, right? You have the ability to talk to the team. You have the ability to get behind the scenes access to an ongoing massive renovation, right? If you're interested in the business of golf courses or what that looks like, golf architecture. I mean, this is like a dream come true for golf sickos. Getting the access to take part in the kind of process. So that's what's really, really cool to me, is like getting to walk on the ground with members, right? This is like kind of an open call for people who want to get involved and want to take part and participate, right? And not just kind of join something like this. I think it's a deeper level. So yeah, just, you know, looking forward to more of that, more opportunities on that front, you know, scheduling some time. I'd love to hear more from Trip about what he's thinking and kind of his process across the thing. More chats with Rob, right? Doing some more stuff in Discord and moving forward on that. But yeah, just looking forward to it, and still pumped after setting foot on
Absolutely.
site.
And if you're excited about those things, you are going to be really, I feel like we said excited like 1,000 times today, but yeah, we have some really fun stuff coming out. You know, course tour videos split up by sort of clubhouse, where it is now, where it's been, where it's going, the course. You know, we're really want to be able to use things like this podcast as well as our YouTube channel as a vehicle to, show people what's happening. I watch a lot of YouTube golf videos. I'm sure as you do, and I'm sure viewers, if you're watching this, and listeners, you do too. But a lot of content around a finished course, and then maybe kind of looking back at the process, or maybe, a course like every hole at Pine Valley, where you see a course that you're very familiar with, but you get sort of a unique view of it. But there is very little out there that's just sort of in the process. And that's really sort of the niche that we're going for here, is like this course is being shaped right now, and you're going to be able to monitor how that goes. You're going to be able to see the progress. And then of course we'll be able to then use all of that and look back and tell this really grand story of how the course changed. But I, as the person who's editing this stuff, like just sitting and just watching hours of it, it's awesome. Like it's just, you can, having been there especially, but also just looking at the contours of the property and the views, and just, it's going to be really special. So I'm excited for you, Cooper, and also for other people who are going to be able to see all the stuff that we'll be putting out. So just to highlight again, if you are a Links member, you can join right now. You can go to clubhouse.links.golf, and there's in the nav bar there, just Hillcrest CC, click on that. Tons of imagery about it, breaking down the membership tiers, and then the ability to sort of permissionlessly join right there. So again, as Chris said, it's pretty unique to be able to do that, and it's only available to NFT members. So if you're not yet an NFT member, you can go to LinksDAO.io, and you can learn more about what that membership means. And that is the way to join Hillcrest. But you can also see the other really amazing value you get for that membership as well. And if you're listening to this and this all sounds cool, it's your chance to get in, like Chris said, the ground floor or something really special, and to actively participate in the growth of this community. So that wraps up today. This golf club, it's evolving, sort of have these new directions. We have a new leader. Congrats, Chris. And it's an exciting time to be a part of it. We're running our first ever sort of big scalable census. We're selling memberships at Hillcrest, which is really exciting. Big things are happening. Most importantly, we want you along for the ride. So if you want to join Hillcrest, again, go to the clubhouse. If you're not yet a Links member, go to linksdao.io. You can also reach out, get in touch with us. We'd be happy to walk you through the process of, either learning how to buy an NFT or just sort of what Links membership is. As always, you can jump into Discord, join the conversation, help shape the future of Links. Cooper, Chris, just appreciate you guys as always. It's always kind of hard to carve out an hour on a Thursday morning because we're all so busy, but just really always appreciate these conversations, and I know other people do too. To everyone listening, thank you. Your passion, your engagement make this community really special, and so we can't wait to build this next chapter together. So again, Chris, Cooper, thanks a lot, and to everyone else, we will see you next time. See you later.
See you.
Happy March Madness, everybody.
Baseball starting too.